When someone insults you, and they will, what is the very first thing your body does before your mind even has a chance to think? Your jaw tightens. Your chest fills with heat. Your hands want to respond. And right there, right in that fraction of a second, you are standing at the most important crossroads of your entire character. Not at some grand decision in life. Not in a boardroom. Not on a battlefield. Right there, in that moment. What you do next reveals everything about who you actually are. The Stoics understood something that took most people their entire lifetime to even begin to grasp. You cannot control what enters your ears, but you own every single thing that exits your mouth and your mind. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the known world, emperor of Rome, commander of millions, spent his private hours writing to himself about this exact problem. Not about wars, not about politics, about insults, about staying calm, about refusing to let someone else's words become your master. Think about the last time someone said something cutting to you. Maybe it was deliberate, sharp, calculated, designed to wound. Maybe it was careless, tossed out without a thought, yet it landed like a blade. Either way, you felt it. And if you reacted immediately, if you fired back, if you went cold, if you replayed it for hours in your mind, then you must understand something the Stoics would say very plainly. You handed that person your power, and they did not even ask for it. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius, read that again. Slowly, the pain is not due to the thing itself. That insult, whatever it was, had no power the moment it left their mouth. Zero. None. It was just air moving through a room. You are the one who decided it had weight. You are the one who picked it up, carried it home, laid it on your pillow, and stared at the ceiling at 2 a.m, turning it over and over. The Stoics are not saying this to be cold. They are saying it because it is the most liberating truth you will ever be handed. Epictetus, a man who was born a slave, who had no rights, no property, no freedom of movement, developed a philosophy of radical inner sovereignty while being legally owned by another human being. He could not control his chains. He could not control his master's cruelty. But he wrote, and he taught that no one ever, under any circumstance, could touch what was inside him without his permission. A man in chains, more free in his mind than most people walking freely today, because he had mastered the one thing that actually belongs to you. Your response now here is something they never teach you, something that cuts against every instinct you have been trained to follow. The person who insults you is almost always showing you their own wound. Healthy people, people who are at peace, people who are genuinely secure, do not need to diminish others. They simply do not. When someone attacks your intelligence, your appearance, your choices, your character, they are giving you a precise map of their own insecurity. They are telling you exactly where they hurt. And the Stoic asks, why would I go to war with someone who is already at war with themselves? There is a story, and this one matters, about Cato, the Roman statesman. A man walked up to him in public and struck him across the face. Physically struck him, and Cato did not retaliate. He did not call for punishment. He did not make a scene. Instead, he simply made sure the incident was widely known, not out of vengeance, but to expose the character of the man who had done it. His silence and his composure said everything that words could not. The blow landed on Cato. The damage landed entirely on the man who threw it. This is the counterintuitive truth at the heart of Stoic power. Silence is not weakness. Composure is not indifference. When you do not react, when you hold still, breathe, and meet an insult with calm clarity, you are not losing. You are demonstrating mastery of the one domain no one can invade. And they know it. That is why it unnerves them. Because they launched something at you, they spent emotional energy. They risked looking cruel or petty, and it simply did not move you. That is not nothing. That is everything. But let's be honest here. This is not easy. The Stoics never said it was easy. Marcus Aurelius wrote the same lessons to himself, over and over in his private journal, which tells you something. He was not performing wisdom for an audience. He was fighting for it daily, the same as you. The philosophy is not a switch you flip once and then float above the chaos of human interaction forever. It is a practice, a discipline you return to each morning, each conflict, each provocation, and each moment when your jaw tightens and your chest fills with heat. So here is the actual practice, concrete, direct, usable. When the insult lands, your first job is simply to create distance between stimulus and response. Even 2 seconds, even 1 breath, because in that space lives your entire freedom. You can ask, is this person's opinion of me actually relevant to my life? Does this person know me deeply enough for their judgment to carry weight? And even if it stings because it contains some truth, what is the Stoic response to truth? Not anger, gratitude. Use it. Correct what can be corrected. Release what cannot. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The insult itself lasts seconds. The replay in your mind, the imaginary conversations, the perfect responses you craft at midnight, the slow burn of it through your day, that is entirely self-inflicted. That is your choice. And the Stoic tradition is ruthlessly clear on this point. Every hour you spend in the fire of someone else's small words is an hour you have surrendered, not to them, but to your own undisciplined mind. The greatest insult is not what they said to you. It is what you then did to yourself. Your reaction is not just a response. It is a statement. It is a declaration to the room, to the person, and most critically, to yourself, about who holds the wheel of your inner life. Let it be you. That is the Stoic answer. That is the only answer that actually holds. Control the one thing that is yours to control, and watch how the world shifts around a person who simply cannot be moved. If you subscribe to the channel and recommend me, you'll be helping the community. Thanks.